We can definitely get started. Welcome, Kathy and Kate, thus far, and to all who are coming in. But we're so excited. Tennessee Environmental Council partnering with TDEC to give these awesome zero waste webinars all about zero waste. And ours is specifically about our recycling roundups, which we've had 9 thus far. We'll have our 10th one coming up. We're going to give you all the information on it. Also, my name is Maris. I'm the communications manager for Tennessee Environmental Council. And it's an honor to be here and introduce our experts of zero waste, our ladies of the hour, Abby Schneider and Ginger Reasonover. Take it away.
Thanks, Maris. So I'm Abby Schneider, Recycling Roundup Coordinator, Recycling and Communications Manager. We're here to talk about our recycling roundups. We'll get more in depth on what those are in a minute. Ginger Reasonover, my coworker, will be helping with this presentation, but our roundup title is Recycling Opportunities in Underserved Neighborhoods Diverts Unwanted Pollution. So if you're new to Tennessee Environmental Council, don't know much about our history, we just want to run through that and give you a little heads up on what we're all about. So what we hope to achieve through our programs is thriving habitats, a circular economy, and climate balance. We have numerous programs to reach those 3 points. We've got our Tennessee Tree Program. So every March, we have Tennessee Tree Day, where we have tree planting across every county across the state. We hope to plant our 1,000,000th tree in March 2024. So be on the lookout for emails about that. Those emails are starting to filter through. We've got our watershed support. So if you're looking to get out there and clean waterways or streams or restore banks, that's a great opportunity. Generate some buzz, that's our pollinator garden program. We encourage people to plant pollinator gardens in their homes, places of business, houses of worship, anywhere where you've got an open space that would be suitable for a pollinator garden. It doesn't have to be big. You can start small. You can even do like window boxes. That's a good start. So if you have any interest in that, check out that program. Recycle Tennessee, all things recycling. Zero waste education, how to produce less, consume less, and throw away less. And compost your compost. That is all about composting, encouraging you to start composting at home, taking composting to a drop-off site, all of that. This next screen here just shows all of our programs. There's QR codes here if you want to learn more about that. We'll also have this slide at the very end of the presentation that'll be up longer, so you can scan those if you want. Also, you can find all these programs listed on our website at tectn.org. Ginger, I think this is where I'm passing it over to you. So Ginger's going to start talking about our roundups and what they are and what they mean and what we've been doing with them.
Hi, y'all. My name is Ginger Reasonover. I am the project assistant or program assistant for our recycling roundups. And I'm so excited that y'all joined us today. So the first slide here says Roundup events to alleviate the landfill crisis. We all know that landfills are in a crisis. Nobody wants one in their backyard. The ones in Nashville and outside of Nashville are almost full, and we really need to figure out something else to do. So what we thought of is the more we can recycle, the less we have in the landfill. And across here, this was at one of our events, and everybody just has a little placard of things that we were accepting that day for recycling. Abby? Why are landfills a problem? Well, as I said, they're reaching capacity, and nobody wants a new landfill in their backyard. Some of the ones that Nashville uses are to the point where they are looking at maybe stopping taking our actual trash. And we don't want that to happen. We don't want the landfills to get full, and we don't want anybody to have another landfill. They create noise pollution. They decrease the home values around in the area. If you've ever been near one of these landfills, they stink, right? They don't smell good at all. You can drive up and usually smell them miles before you get there. So nobody wants to live in an area like that, and it decreases all of the home value, and just the whole neighborhood kind of goes downward from that. And one of the biggest things is the leachate, the contaminants that get into the soil and the groundwater. And even in the most pristine landfill that you have, some of that stuff is still getting into our groundwater and into our soil, and we don't want that to happen. So landfills are a huge problem. When I was growing up, everybody always says, oh, throw that away. And if you are a parent, or if you have been a child in a home, somebody has probably said to you, throw that away. Well, what we have come to realize is there is no away. It has to go somewhere. It either goes through recycling and gets put back on a shelf somewhere, or it gets reused by someone, or it ends up in a landfill. And so for us, the landfill is the problem. Go ahead. So why is recycling so important? In 2018, Tennesseans generated 31.7 more waste than the national average. That's over 6 pounds of trash per person per day. So if you just, get something that has about 6 pounds in it, or is about 6 pounds, and carry it around for the day, the Tennesseans on average are throwing away that much stuff every day, or they're throwing into the landfill that much stuff every day. We are high above what the national average is of 4.5 pounds. So we need to decide that we want to do better. And in most cases, 70 to 80% of the materials that are found in landfills that are buried there could be recycled, which means it has economic value. It can be excuse me, it can be processed into new materials, which saves not only that virgin material, but also saves this from going into the landfill. So recycling creates jobs for Tennesseans, and it helps companies, all while reducing our reliance on those landfills that we've already said we really want to get rid of. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'll just add another statistic there. So across the state, or across the nation, Tennessee is 47th when it comes to recycling participation. So Tennesseans aren't doing a whole lot to recycle. They're producing a lot of trash. Our goal is that if you don't already recycle, that you'll start recycling. Start small if it overwhelms you. If you have friends that aren't recycling, try and encourage them to recycle. I know sometimes just leading by example gets them to change their habits. And then just encouraging you to be mindful of your consumption habits, what you throw away, so that we can lower these numbers for Tennessee. We don't want to be in the negative or in the bottom numbers. We want to show that we care about our community, we care about our state, and then we want to do better for it.
I talked about the raw materials that are used. One of the biggest raw materials that's used in aluminum is bauxite. And we have found out that, mining leads to habitat loss, to air, water, soil, and noise pollution. Again, nobody really wants that going on in their backyard. All of those raw materials that are extracted from the ground harms the environment. So aluminum cans are one of the things that can be recycled over and over and over again, indefinitely. It takes 95% less energy to make an aluminum can from a recycled can than it does to refine it from the raw aluminum material bauxite. Your aluminum soda can return to your favorite grocery store in as little as 90 days. And that's taking into account the collection, the smelting, the rolling, the manufacturing, and the redistribution of it. Recycling just one aluminum can save enough energy to power a television for up to 3 hours. And current energy saved in 1 year from recycling aluminum cans in the United States could light an entire city the size of Denver, Colorado for more than 10 years. So recycling aluminum is a really good thing to do, whether it's aluminum cans that you have, or on the business side where they are recycling other things that are aluminum. And yet, even with all of this information, it is estimated that Americans throw away enough aluminum cans every 3 months to rebuild our entire commercial air fleet. So again, we're not doing as good a job as we should. Tennessee's the volunteer state. We need to volunteer to do a better job on this. Go ahead, Abby. Tennessee Environmental Council is helping by doing our recycling roundups. So about 1.5 years ago, we were awarded a grant that enabled us to offer 10 recycling roundup events for underserved communities. And these are just some of the pictures that are across there. One of our gentlemen from Liberty Tire is hanging out with the tires that were collected at that event. In the center there, we have a group of TEC folks that came out to promote the event and help with it. And then over here on the far right, we have electronics, cables, and cords that we were collecting. So far, our collection sites have been North Nashville, Clarksville, Memphis, Robbins, Camden, Ripley, Hornbeak, Rutledge, Cleveland, and our last event for this year is going to be in Franklin, Tennessee at the Nissan headquarters. And we will talk a little bit more about that in one of the next slides. The items that we collect. Most of the time, we are collecting the same materials: tires, electronics, mattresses, batteries, scrap metal, medications, inkjet cartridges, clothing, textiles, glass bottles, and then we do secure paper shredding. There have been some of our events, some of our roundups, where they have no recycling whatsoever. So we have also added plastic bottles, aluminum cans, and flattened cardboard to those. But this is just a list of what we typically recycle. We do tailor that to the community a little bit, but those are some of our standards. And you can see from our Hornbeak Recycling Roundup event, this is one of the flyers that we passed out to the community. And it says, okay, here's all the things that we're accepting in our event. And usually there will be a click, and you can click on there to get further information, because, you know, not everybody knows what's considered scrap metal, or not everybody knows what, you know, is considered an electronic and what can be picked up and what can't. So we always, on our website, we always give that information that says, click here for more information, and we'll have a detailed list of what can be accepted. Go ahead, please. So this is a little video. I'll let you watch.
Okay, yeah, so this is just a video from our first event in North Nashville that took place last December. I'm gonna hit play and hope y'all can hear the video. If you don't mind giving a thumbs up in the chat to make sure you can hear it, because I don't want to play it and you'll not be able to hear it.
Hey y'all, it's a great day to recycle. We're doing our Tennessee Environmental Council's first recycling roundup here at TSU for the North Nashville community. We've got cars lined up and the doors are about to open. Recycling all kinds of great stuff here today. Hard to recycle items like glass, textiles, medicines, medications, electronics, mattresses, tires, and we have a line of cars ready to come in.
Hey, I'm Maris with Tennessee Environmental Council, and actually, Rod McDaniel, owner, CEO, the man behind S3 Recycling Solutions.
At collection events, we typically are taking things like laptops, desktop servers, cell phones, anything that plugs in a wall, anything that's in the IT department, we'll take. The equipment that is received today will go back to our secure facility. We'll weigh it, and then it goes through a process of being refurbished, and then put them back into the secondary market so they can be reused, because that's the truest form of recycling. The City of Nashville has convenience centers located throughout the city. Go and drop them off, and someone like us will pick them up, and it'll go through the same process.
It's based out of Lebanon,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Rockwood Recycling. And we were just chatting about what you all do with the tires.
Yes, ma'am. Well, some people can't throw the tires away, so they can just bring them to us, and we haul them off to another company to recycle them. And sometimes they can have people make ground up to make playground mulch or whatever, give it back to the earth.
Yeah.
That's mostly that's all it's about.
So for just a general public safety, we take in medications. If somebody passes, they don't usually have a place to put the medication. We don't want them flushed down the sewer or anything like that. So the safest thing to keep them out of hands of grandkids or something like that is to bring them and turn them into us. You don't have to take them out of the pill bottles. We prefer they stay in the original package.
Yeah.
They're going to go in here, they're bagged up, they're sealed in a box, and then sent to an incinerator. Even if it has personal information, doesn't matter. It's just going to go straight to the incinerator.
Okay, yeah. We really appreciate you being here. Thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.
Well, thanks for having us out. Thanks for asking the questions. We are a nonprofit organization here in Middle Tennessee. We try to do threefold. We people, planet, purpose. So we want to help men that want to change, men coming out of jails or prisons, men that have substance abuse problems.
Yeah.
So we will employ these men. We'll recycle about 25 to 35,000 mattresses and box springs a year.
Wow.
That's about 3.5 million cubic feet of landfill space that we save every year. You know, for every guy that we employ, quite possibly that's a guy that's not rotating or revolving back into one of our systems, one of our social systems. So we're in turn saving the taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars a year per employee.
And I'm here with Seth, who's shredding paper today with Night Horse. So tell me again how everything kind of works.
Well, it gets loaded into that bin right there, and then it gets sent up the chute and put down in the shredder and gets all ground up and then shot back into the back. And then we take it to a recycling center and empty it out, and they turn it into any kind of paper recyclable, whether it be paper plates, paper towels.
Amazing, that's what we want. We
Yeah.
want to recycle the paper.
Yeah.
Win. Good job, Seth.
Thank you, appreciate you.
So as you can tell from the Recycling Roundup video there, these events are fun, they're energizing. We're providing a valuable resource for hundreds of households as we give them a place to recycle those things that are sometimes difficult to recycle. They get to clean up, drive through, and drop off all the materials that they don't know how to dispose of. But we don't want them to end up in the landfill. And we do actually work with the companies. You heard them talking about the mattresses. We actually work with companies that do recycle those materials. So we don't pick them up and take them somewhere else to the landfill. We actually work with the companies that recycle those. So we are so excited. Abby?
If you said something to me, it could have been because my computer was freezing up.
Go ahead. Next slide.
Okay. I just want to real quickly point out, so with that first event we had in North Nashville, as you saw, almost 25,000 pounds of materials, 240 participants drove through, 5,400 pounds of shredded paper, like lots of great material numbers there, and we'll keep going through that in a few slides.
This was our event in Memphis. And up until just a couple of weeks ago, this was the biggest event that we had. You can see we have over 4,000 pounds of tires, a total of 38,776 pounds of materials that were diverted from the landfill, over 400 participants. And some of the cool stories that come out, this picture that you see down at the bottom is the line of traffic waiting to come in to recycle. So we start our recycling events at 9 o'clock, and by about 7:15, people were on the phone calling me going, hey, there's people already waiting in the parking lot. So it was a really busy day, a great day. We got lots and lots of stuff done. But one of the beautiful things about it is the community themselves that are coming out and supporting this. We had a couple of groups of sorority sisters from days gone by. So they weren't current college students. And they came out and brought, there were probably 15, 20, 25 of them throughout the day that came and volunteered and helped out at the recycling event. And one gentleman came through with some tires, and a few minutes later, we saw him come back with some more tires. After we talked with him, we found out that he was actually going into the community and picking up tires that were on the side of the road or in vacant lots or, down by the creek. He came through 4 or 5 different times, and there's no telling how many tires he eventually recycled himself. And so just the community taking part and getting on board with it. We know that they want to do this. We just, we're out there helping them figure out how to get it done. This particular recycling event in Memphis, we had someone come up to us at the end and say, hey, we want to put one of these on. So we are now working with them to help them plan how they could do their event next spring. They had 452 cars full of materials that drove through at this particular event. Go ahead, please, Abby. This, I said to date, Memphis was our largest event until this one. So a couple of weeks ago, Bradley County, Tennessee, down in Cleveland, right outside of Cleveland, kind of where the Ocoee River is, if you're familiar with that area. Cleveland and Charleston. Charleston was our actual person that wanted to have this event. They were kind of our sponsor, but they're right there in the Cleveland area. A very small community. I mean, Charleston's got just, a few people in it. Cleveland is not a huge place either, but together collectively, they had 217, I think, participants that drove through. And what you see down there in the corner are part of the tires. We ended up with so many tires at this particular event. Let's see, 35,700 pounds of tires. So that bumped everything else up to where we had 52,000, a little over 52,000 pounds of materials that were collected. And once again, they were collected and diverted from the landfill. I think that particular event, we had 48, Abby, is that correct? 48 mattresses. And again, you heard Ryan talk earlier about how much mattresses take up the space in a landfill. And, even though weight wise, they're not as heavy as a tire, the actual place that they take up in the landfill is so much more. So anytime we can get those materials, especially those big, heavy, bulky materials out of the way, it's awesome. So Bradley County is right now to date our largest event. We're coming up on our last event of the year, and I think maybe that's the next slide. Is it, Abby?
I think so. Not yet.
Okay. So you never know what's going to show up at a recycling roundup. We have had people call us and go, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. One in Rutledge a few weeks ago, a month ago or so now, somebody showed up with, I know there had to be 300 or 400 bottles, a particular drink bottle, and I can't remember what it is, but they had been saving them for a while. He pulled in with his pickup truck, and the entire bed of his pickup truck was layered 2 layers deep with them. He put them all back in the little cardboard containers and brought us the whole cardboard containers, but it's amazing what people bring and what they pull out. Probably the one that has been the most unique is this little Cub Cadet tractor here. So at one of our events, Ripley, is that correct, Abby? Ripley, Tennessee. Yes. We had one of the ladies that was helping with us. She'd been there all day long, and it was getting kind of towards the end of the day. And she goes, hey, will y'all take a tractor? So we're on the phone with our scrap metal vendor, and he goes, oh yeah, sure. In my brain, I was envisioning this huge tractor that you would just kind of drive into the place here and drop off. It actually ended up being this little Cub Cadet tractor, which is just amazing that they still had that. She said it had been sitting in her driveway for years because they were trying to figure out what to do with it. So we were excited that we were able to finally take that off our hands. So again, you just don't ever know what's going to show up. Next slide, please. Here's some of our results to date. So you can see as you go through there, there are different, and I know this is small and I apologize, but you can see the numbers of the different materials. Paper, over 17,000 pounds. Scrap metal, 21,000 pounds. Electronics, 51,000 pounds. Our biggest one so far, and this is because of that event in Bradley County, is 78,000 pounds of tires. So collectively, over the last 9 recycling events, we have collected over 200,000 pounds of materials that have been kept out of the landfill. And again, everything, with the exception of the medications that we collect, everything gets recycled. Medications, there is no way to recycle them. We just have them disposed of properly through the police department. But everything else is recycled. And we are so excited that, you know, it's going as well as it has. And so our next slide, remember with this poundage here, this over 200,000 pounds, it's going to be recycled and turned into new materials, so we don't have to go back and use those raw materials, which are so hard to come by and so expensive and have all of the different environmental impacts with those. So we are so excited that we get to collect them and not bury them in landfill. Our last event that's coming up this year is at Nissan Corporate, which is right there and across from Cool Springs, if you're familiar with that area. At our Roundup on November the 11th. Now, we need lots of stuff. We want you to come and bring your materials. We want you to sign up to volunteer if you have that opportunity. We're looking for people who want to come out and have a good time for the day. And we do have a good time for the day. We provide you with water and drinks during the day. We provide you with a good lunch and just a lot of camaraderie. So it's a ton of fun. And there are a couple of surprises that are coming along with that Roundup that are new to us. So if you have an opportunity, check out either here, this QR code, you can click there to get information, or you can go to our website, tectn.org/recycling roundup. Again, we would love for you to come out and volunteer because we do have a great time. If you can't volunteer, spread the word. We have, if you go onto the website here, we have a flyer that you can help pass out for us, both virtually and in person if you want to. And then we hope to have a big turnout. We are thinking that this might be our biggest one yet, but we don't know. We're going to have to get a lot of people through there to beat that Bradley County. So again, please come out and join us. Abby? If you want to host your own Roundup, we have several Roundups coming up over the next 3 years, about 35 of them actually. Most of them are outside of the Nashville area in smaller communities. There are a few that are close to Nashville, but if seeing this video and seeing this presentation has made you say, hey, my community wants to do this on their own, or my business wants to do this, or I'm a teacher and I want to have my kids do this, which they can, start small. Pick a few categories of materials that are easy to collect and easy to dispose of, easy to recycle. Batteries, small appliances, those type things can go to Best Buy or sometimes to Target. Partner with a business. Partner with your neighborhood HOA, partner with your neighbors. Again, partner with a school. They are really excited about finding opportunities that they can use their children in to help them get some service hours. So soon we will have a how to host a Roundup template that will give you all the information that we have kind of put together over the last year or so to help you have a successful event. So be looking for that on our website. And if you have any questions, reach out to us. We're usually going to be at an event, but if you leave a message, we'll get back with you as soon as we can. Okay, go ahead, Abby.
Thanks, Ginger. So I'm going to take back over. So after all the slides we've shown you so far, we really just want to encourage you to rethink how you view trash, just because a lot of things don't need to be thrown away, don't need to be sent to a landfill. So can it be composted? So you can do composting in your backyard, collect materials in your freezer in a brown paper bag, and take it to one of the 4 convenience centers in Davidson County at no cost. You can do vermiculture where you compost with worms inside. There's a lot of different composting options. Recycling. So again, if you're not already recycling, please recycle. The images on the bottom in that category, the foam egg cartons and the plastic bags. We encourage you to try and avoid styrofoam and plastic bags and plastic whenever you can. But if you do end up with those materials, the foam egg cartons, foam meat trays, takeout containers, cups from takeout restaurants, as long as they're clean and dry, you can take those to Publix to recycle. Same thing with the plastic bags and any other type of plastic film where you can easily poke your finger through it, like a bread bag, bag that goes over dry cleaning. You can take those to Publix. Next category is donation. Are there things you have that you can donate instead of sending it to a landfill? So if you've got furniture, books, any household materials, look at various thrift stores where you can donate those. Look to give them away on a Zero Waste Nashville Facebook page or a Buy Nothing Nashville or Buy Nothing, whatever city name is relevant to you. Those are great resources to get materials you no longer use that someone else might find a joy in those items. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist are still great options. Reaching out to your friends. There's a lot of resources to get stuff you no longer want into the hands of someone who can enjoy that item. Bottom pictures there, we've got the blanket, towel, sheets, bath mats, and prescription bottles. A lot of veterinary clinics and animal rescue groups need those items for their pet patients. Just call and ask around. There's a lot of them out in the Nashville area that use those. Metro Animal Care and Control. I don't remember if they use the prescription bottles, but they're generally always looking for those blankets and sheets and towels.
Abby, can I interject?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just if you have some of those laying around right now, bring them out to our event on November the 11th, because we are accepting those for local pet donations. So again, check out that website and see what all you can bring. Go ahead.
Thanks, Ginger. One other thing I'll mention too, like if you've got old towels or sheets that are natural materials, those can always be composted too. So just keep in mind what materials can be composted and what things don't have to be thrown away. Last category being reuse. So if you have things that can be donated and upcycled, reused in another manner. So a lot of people in the Nashville area into sustainability are already familiar with Turnip Green Creative Reuse. And they're a great reuse store where you can take paint that's still usable. You can take various knickknacks, wood scraps, tile scraps, fabric scraps, bread ties, trophies, books, magazines, particular magazines. They've got a whole list on their website. If you're not familiar with them, if you haven't been there, I highly encourage checking that place out. It's a great place to go look for crafts for your kids or students or whomever. It's a pay what you want pay model, pay what you can pay model. I also wanted to mention I've got a picture of a drum cymbal there. There was a time I was helping a friend move. He had a broken vacuum, and then he had a broken drum cymbal with a crack in it. And he was going to throw both of them away. I took the drum cymbal immediately to Turnip Green, and they told me that someone picked it up that day to repurpose and turn into a light fixture. So some things that people view as trash, they're just not well versed in what can be upcycled. So it's just, again, reviewing how you view trash. Again, the vacuum that he was going to throw away, I took to Best Buy because they recycle vacuums at no cost. So just keep in mind there's a lot of other options that people just don't know about. So we're hoping to share some of those resources with you. So I spoke on composting just real quick. I mentioned you can compost in your backyard. There's curbside compost programs with Compost Nashville, Regenerate, which is in the Franklin, kind of South Nashville area. Metro Nashville just unveiled their pilot program for curbside pickup that I think is starting next month. They've already selected all their candidates for that, but I know hopefully if that goes well, they'll expand that even further. I mentioned dropping it off at a local convenience center. There's 4 in Davidson County. You can find those on Metro Nashville's website. And as always, if you can find a local farm that accepts compost, a lot of farms will take pumpkins that don't have any kind of spray or anything on them after Halloween and feed those to their farm animals. A lot of them might take some other compost materials from you as well. So just real quick, yeah, go ahead, Ginger. I can't hear you anymore.
TEC actually has great composting information on their website. It's called Come Post Your Compost. So look into that if you are composting, however you're composting, whether you're doing it in your backyard or taking it to a convenience center or have pickup through any of the local pickup services. Make sure you go into that website and get information about Come Post Your Compost.
Thanks. And maybe Maris, you can post that link in the chat for our attendees. Real quickly, just want to go over what can be recycled in Nashville. I know that Tennessee Environmental Council touches the whole state of Tennessee and rules vary by municipality. So just keep that in mind. If you're unsure of what can be recycled in your community, go to the local municipality website, reach out to your local solid waste director just to confirm those materials. These are specifically for Nashville. All these materials can be recycled at any of the drop-off sites. All of these can be recycled in your curbside cart with the exception of glass, which is in the center. So take glass to a local drop-off site. There's recycling in convenience centers, or utilize just glass for pickup service. So you can recycle cardboard. Don't forget your paper towel tubes or toilet paper tubes. Make sure you flatten the boxes. When you flatten them in your cart, they get flattened in the trucks, which allows them to collect more materials. If you're not flattening them, it significantly restricts how much materials they can collect. No grease-stained cardboard. There are some cities that do take grease-stained cardboard pizza boxes. Nashville is not at that point. So if you have a pizza box with grease stains, you can remove the grease-stained portions, throw that in your compost. The non-stained portion can go in your recycle bin. Metals, aluminum cans, steel, food and beverage containers. Make sure they're clean and rinsed without any food residue. No aluminum foil or aluminum trays. Those can't be recycled in Nashville. I have heard some scrap metal vendors take them. It's case-by-case basis. And then paper, so your mail, your magazines, paper beverage cartons, those can all go in your recycle bin or at a drop-off site. No shredded paper. Shredded paper, the material is just too fine. Put that in your compost bin. That's great for your compost. Lastly, plastic, which is usually the most confusing for people. The rules change over the years just based on market demand and where there's value for those materials. So Nashville has the capacity to take bottles, jars, and jugs only. Leave the lid attached. Make sure those are clean and rinsed. So just a quick quiz. Can you spot the 3 items that do not belong in this curbside recycling bin? Give you a little bit to look that over. Okay, I hope you found the 3 contaminants. So no plastic bags, no styrofoam, and no glass bottles. The good thing is, while these can't go in your recycling cart, there are resources to recycle them locally. Plastic bags, take them to generally your local grocery store, Target, Walmart, Kroger. Glass bottles, again, take that to a drop-off site. Styrofoam, if it's clean, take it to Publix. A few other resources for you. I mentioned Best Buy takes electronics. They take a lot of free items at no cost. So if you've got an old vacuum, your hair tools, cords and cables, your old iPhone charger that's fraying, there's a lot of different options on their website that they recycle for free. Just take it to the Geek Squad desk and they'll recycle it for free for you. I mentioned the items you can take to a animal rescue group or a vet clinic. And then if you're not familiar with the Good Fill, it's a refill store in Nashville. There's a location in West Nashville and East Nashville. They take products through TerraCycle. They take your office supply items, so your pens and highlighters and markers that no longer work. If you've got the release liner, which is the backing on stickers or envelopes when it's a self-stick envelope, they take things like that. They also take your grooming products. So if you have any of those items, you can find more details on their website. I don't have it on this handout, but I've recently seen that Sage Refill, more in Wedgwood, Houston, Belmont area, also has some great collection bins for materials. You can check that out on their website. Both of these places tend to take Halloween candy wrappers around Halloween time, so be looking out for that. And then I mentioned turnip green earlier as a great way to take materials what's listed here, bubble mailers. So if you're ordering online from Amazon, you've got those bubble mailers, try and take those there. And again, I mentioned the thrift stores is a great option for donating and reuse. So again, avoiding waste creation is the best possible solution. Using reusable bags when you go shopping and not just at the grocery store. Most people are using those just at the grocery store, forgetting to take them to a shopping center. So bring your cloth bags when you go there. Shop secondhand and buy clothing made of natural materials. The fashion industry is very harmful to the environment, just with fast fashion and how much people are consuming and shopping more as a hobby than as a necessity. So if you can go to thrift stores, shop secondhand through eBay or Poshmark or online platforms, trading with friends, doing clothing swaps, buying clothing made of natural materials, so cotton, linen, and wool, things like that. Again, when those wear out, throw them in your compost pile. Avoiding single-use items. So a lot of people are ordering food online these days. They're getting single-use utensils. They're getting single-use clamshell plastics, which are not recyclable locally. Try to avoid those when you can. I always write if I'm ordering online, please no single-use plastics. If I go to a restaurant, I bring my own reusable container to take my food home in, and that helps cut down on that. I mentioned reusing packaging materials. So if you've got a package you need to send to a friend, or if you know someone who sells items online, you can supply those materials to them. Just trying to find ways of, before you throw something away, is there another outlet for where I can take this item or give this item to someone else? If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm really passionate about trying to avoid waste creation and sending things to landfill. In 2022, I only set my trash card out once in the whole year. So it's something I really care about. Lastly, buying items in glass or aluminum instead of plastic. Glass and aluminum are both infinitely recyclable. So if you're buying items with those materials, it's going to last a whole lot longer than buying in plastic, which does not have a long lifespan. Plastic is being consumed and produced much faster than it's being recycled. So if you have any questions or want more information on recycling in Nashville, recycling in Tennessee, our recycling roundups, there's these 2 web links here for that. Hopefully, Maris can add those to the chat for you to make it a little easier. You can find those directly on our website as well. Lots of information there. Thank you so much for your time. Ginger and I were happy to have you all and share this information with you. Here's our email addresses. So again, if you have any questions, we're happy to be a resource for you. Reach out to us and we'll get some answers for you as best we can. And lastly, we're opening it up for any questions. We've got about 12 minutes left in this webinar if anyone has any questions for us. And Maris, will kind of let you look through the chat and see if you see anything, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it looks like somebody had to go. Kate said that she had to jump off, but she loved it and she wants to set up a recycling roundup in West Nashville, Sylvan Park. So I told her that we need to get in touch for sure. I'm gonna also, all the links are also in the chat, and I'm gonna put one more. Does anyone have any questions at all?
How many times did I freeze up in the presentation? I have a question.
Only like 1 or 2. It wasn't too bad.
Okay, good.
Oh, and I just realized I was sending Kathy a message directly. Sorry, Kathy.
For all the one-on-one messages.
Yeah, but oh gosh, that's what happened. Yeah, I guess I was sending them all to Kathy. Okay, here's the roundup.
Well, let's see.
Here's the recycle, right? And compost, and we'll leave those up.
Okay.
That was fantastic, ladies. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's amazing what we're doing with these recycling roundups. And it's so much fun. You meet so many people. You feel great after you do it. And the knowledge that you gain is really something too. amazing where all this stuff can actually go versus the trash. Oh, we got a question. Okay, Philip said, are there any sites in Tennessee that actually recycle glass? It seems like the closest locations are in Atlanta.
Abby, you want to take this one or you want me to?
Sure. It's so funny because the name under your picture on my end says Abby Schneider. Yes, I can take that one. So I'm not sure of all the locations, but I do know that we've got Strategic Materials, which recycles glass, and they are in Ashland City. And I believe they take most of Davidson County's glass. I'm not sure who else they take glass for. I know that glass is a difficult material just because in our events we've had to bring glass back to Nashville just because places like Knoxville doesn't have a lot of glass resources near them, and a lot of it is just it's very costly to transport it. So I know that we do have Strategic Materials in Ashland City. Beyond that, I'm not really sure. There's a place called Florum in Clarksville. I know they will take some glass from residents. They're a tile manufacturing company, I believe. Those are the two I know of. There may be more, but that's all I'm aware of. Ginger, do you have anything to add to that?
Up in East Tennessee, I know that they are collecting glass there because their highway group is using it on the roads. So they have a glass compactor or a glass cutter or shredder, however you say that, that they have there. So they are taking a lot of that East Tennessee glass and using it that way.
Cool.
And I see.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I see Philip's comment about how he thinks SMI sends theirs to Atlanta. So that may be the case. We have been meaning to get on a call with them to learn more about what they do with their glass. But we just started dropping off some materials with them real recently. So we'll find an answer. And, it'd be great if we had more glass recycling closer to Nashville. I mean, I don't remember if I mentioned earlier, but the only two places where you can recycle mattresses in Tennessee is Nashville and not Murfreesboro, Memphis. So we're very limited on some of the infrastructure for recycling some of these materials in our state.
But also, if you're interested, if you're in the area, in the Nashville area, it is going to be in person. We have a policy and practice meeting coming up next Friday, and a lot of these issues have to be voiced, and we have to show up with our legislature. So we are going to have a meeting to talk about a lot of these types of things and how we can propose some solutions to our leaders. With that being said, yeah, if you are able to come and join us, it's next Friday, and I can put that link in the chat as well if you want to sign up. Any more questions? In there really quick. Couple more seconds. Any burning desire questions left?
Kathy, thank you for the notes you shared in the chat. That's helpful.
Final words from me, come out and join us November the 11th. Either come out and help volunteer or bring stuff from your neighborhood. Let's get some more of that stuff out of the area and keep it out of our landfills.
Absolutely. Yay. Okay. Thank you, everybody that's here. Thanks, Kathy. Great webinar. And yeah, it's Zero Waste Day. So you learned something today, share it with your friends, share it with your family, sign up for our general email, and we'll have all of the things going on there. Once a week, those go out usually. And hopefully we'll see you at Nissan.
Yeah, one other thing. Metro Nashville has a webinar starting at noon, so check that out. They've got a webinar today for Zero Waste Day. And there was something else I was going to say. Oh, I was going to say this recording of this webinar should be on YouTube. So if you all missed some of the key information or want to look back at any slides, we should have that uploaded to our YouTube channel at some point in the future.
Great. Perfect.
Thank you for coming, y'all.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.